to go into creating our own dashboard. So let's go and create one from scratch. The aim is a little challenge that I put for myself. Let's say 10 minutes. We're going to go and see in 10 minutes, what can we do? But first thing first, what are the answers? What am I doing? So here I know that I'm going to create a dashboard that is going to be mostly read by executives. They're interesting on the character is very broad, lifetime all territories. I know that I'm going to concentrate a little bit more on the last year, because otherwise, if we go and analyze the data from 5 years ago, we'll be there until tomorrow. What action it should inform? Well, it should inform how we look at acquisition of our first purchaser and their repurchase. They want to understand that. How often are they going to see it? Probably only once. And the three most important metrics that have been given is, well, the number of customers acquired per channel, the percentage of retention, and the percentage of omni-channel customers. So now I already have a little bit of color that I understand that channel is definitely something very important for my audience. Cool. Let's go and build it up. All right. Back to my initiative. And let's create a new dashboard. I'll take a blank one. And as I said, the first thing that I want to start laying out is key metrics on the top. So I'm going to go and add some metrics in here. So I'm interested in the number of customers that purchase in store. I already have it built, so that's going to be handy. One thing that I do want to do is give it a little bit of an information of how this number has evolved. So I'm going to add a date range of the last 365 days. And I won't compare it with the previous period. So what this setting is going to do, I'm going to show you in a second, is it's going to add this little information here of how this number has changed compared to the same period, just the period before. So here it's looking at 365 days ago. All right, let's add a few more. I'm going to put the number of customers who purchase online. Same exercise. 365 days. There we go. Then number of customers acquired in store. So here my logic is I went from the general, how many people shop in store during that period. Now I want to know how many customers were acquired in store during that period. I'm also going to use a custom type frame. There we go. I like to go resizing it. Here we can see like, oh my God, this has really changed. Our business has done something quite different. And we start to see some insight. And then, no, that one we already did. Number of acquired online. Well, you got the trail, right? Ah, that's interesting. Nobody acquired online in the last year. All right. I would expect our execs would know it, but for me, that's already an interesting fact. And then we want the number of omni-channel customers, right? So I'm going to go and calculate that one. I don't have a metrics for it built here, so I'm just going to go and create one from scratch, where I want my customer to have a purchase, which is in the source type equal to store. And I also want them to have a purchase in a source type equal to or not equal to store. All right. I can keep it lifetime, or I can keep it like 365 days to become in this line with my other metrics. All right. So omnichannel customers last 365 days. It's important that you include in your filters, in your title, the filters that you've put, because that's the only place where you're really going to see it. once they are in your dashboard. All right, and we also want to see how many people have actually repurchased. That would be an interesting one because, well, we're looking at repurchase. So we talked a bit about acquisition. Now it's time for repurchase. So I'm going to go and count the number of customers who have several transactions. Greater than 1. Those are my 2 time plus customers. This one is light. 3. All right. Here you can see I need to do a little bit of cleanup on my format, but in the interest of time, I'm going to leave them like this for now. Now, I want to look at how my purchases on the different channel per month. I'm going into one level below. Here we looked at the whole year. Now I want to break it down by month and understand what's going on there. So I'm going to create a report where I'm going to go and count my purchase event, where they're the first one. So my index is 1. And I'm going to call that first purchase. I'm going to then go and look at those that are not equal to 1. And those I'm going to call them my repurchase. I want to look at them by month. So I'm going to go to timestamp, and it will default to year, month, day, but that's not really practical to have a long time view. So I'm going to go to year, month. And in column, I'm going to break them down per channel. Let's adjust my quick preview to make sure that you see it right. Make sure that you're choosing the best view. I do like it that way, and you have the access of the time, and then the title makes sense as well. So I'm going to leave that one like this, and it is purchase per channel in the last 365 days. Yeah, I can already see that really I only have store as a channel of acquisition for the last year. That's interesting. And it have some repurchase, but most people go and repurchase on the web. So that's the insight that you're getting from this report. I'm going to drag it down here. Now, I'd like to understand in the process of repurchase, how long does it take? What is the really the percentage of retention? I'm going to go and use a funnel for that because that's very fast. And I'm almost running out of time, so I'm going to need to hurry up. So purchase to purchase, I'm going to look at the last 365 days because that's really what my old dashboard is looking at. So I want to keep it consistent. And here I go. I have about 11% of my customers that repurchase, and they take on average 74 days. So this is my repurchase funnel for people acquired in the last 365 days. There we go. I'll drag that one down here. It looks really massive here, but I'm going to change that in a second because I want to add a retention. So now that we've looked at, okay, on average, it takes 74 days, but is that really different from one cohort of customer to another according to when they were acquired? So for that, I'm going to go and create a retention graph, looking at my purchase to my repurchase in the last 365 days. 365 days, a quick preview. I'm interested in looking at it at month level, and I just want 6 months. So here I go. I can see for each cohort acquired in those months, how many of them came back and when. We can see that we have a bit of a stronger one on the 2 months, which is normal for the 74 to be an average, but that we have some things that happens a bit differently. So we gave a little bit more color here on this repurchase retention at 6 months in the last 365 days. All right. line that up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a little smaller, and this one a little smaller too. Here we go. 10 minutes. That's a dashboard about repurchase and acquisition per channel that you can present, and at least you can have an initial feedback on it. Don't forget to put a name in to save it. That's typically the most important thing that you can need to do at the end. So this is my acquisition and repurchase per channel. Past 5 days. And save. All right.
Okay. Gabriel, I would like to come back to one or two things in the dashboard that you built. Yeah. So once you started with reports and funnels, I think one important thing to mention is that when you are inserting or adding the report or funnel, you can choose to this, or you can decide whether you want to show it as a visualization or whether you want to show the raw data in a table. Sometimes the table might be more telling, or you can just decide to choose both if you have enough space on your dashboard.
Yeah.
So
that would be an example of how you would do that.
Yes. Yes. And within dashboards, we can also apply visualization for tables, so things like heat map or selecting top 10% values, etc. So sometimes the table might be more efficient in telling your story. And the same applies to funnels as well. So I just felt like it's important to mention that the visualization is not the only.
Yeah, that's a very good call out, actually. I think in funnel, chart is always going to be the one it defaults to. I found that adding trend is often one that is very interesting, so that you can understand, in your business, is it something new? Has it changed? Is it consistent? So that is a very good tip.
Yes, and then maybe one more thing to mention is that you've already assigned a dashboard to an initiative. In your case, it's with today's date. But I would like to highlight this because any dashboard that you are creating from scratch, you will be probably creating a lot of new dashboards, metrics, etc. So if you start with a dashboard in an initiative, all those definitions, all those analyses will be also placed in the same initiative. And it's more likely that people will not edit them. In case they see an open rate without any initiative assigned, they might change the metric because they need to report a certain number, which will break your dashboard or will show incorrect data. So it's always a good practice to place the dashboard into initiatives, so you can see, as Gabriel is showing us, all the different analyses used within the initiative. So you can also go into the specific granular metrics or reports that you built.